This is chapter 2, India before the times of Shivaji Maharaj. Part 2. This is first point, Sultanate in the north. In 1175 CE and 1178 CE, Sultan Muhammad Ghuri of Ghur from Afghanistan invaded India. He appointed Qutbuddin Aibak to look after the governance of the conquered territories in India. Later, after the death of Muhammad Ghuri in 1206 CE, Aibak began to rule the Indian territories under his rule, independently. Aibak, who was initially a slave, became the ruler of Delhi. He died in 1210 CE. Ibrahim Lodi was the last sultan. He made many enemies because of his peculiar temperament. Daulat Khan Lodi, governor of Punjab, invited Babur, the ruler of Kabul, to fight against Ibrahim Lodi. Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the battle, and thus the Sultanate came to an end. Now in this paragraph, they are talking about Sultanate. Okay. Now in 1175 CE and 1178 CE, Muhammad Ghuri, he was from Afghanistan, so he invaded India. Invaded means to enter a country with an army in order to attack and take control of it. Okay, so he came in order to take control of India. Then he appointed Qutbuddin Aibak to look after the governance of the conquered territories in India. Okay, then death of Muhammad Ghuri in 1206 CE. Aibak was a slave. Then he became ruler. Okay, and he also died in 1210 CE. Then Ibrahim Lodi was the last sultan. He made many enemies because of his peculiar temperament. It's a peculiar means what? Unusual. Okay, strange. During the reign of Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq of Delhi, there were many revolts in the south against the central power of Delhi. From these revolts arose the formidable Vijayanagar and Bahmani kingdoms. The brothers Harihar and Bukka from South India were Sardars in the service of Delhi Sultanate. Taking advantage of the instability in the south during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, they founded the kingdom of Vijayanagar in the south in 1336 CE. Hampi in today's Karnataka was the capital of this kingdom. Harihar was the first king of Vijayanagar. Harihar was succeeded by his brother Bukka. Bukka brought the region up to Rameshwar under his control. Krishnadevaraya ascended the throne of Vijayanagar in 1509 CE. He conquered Vijayawada and Rajamahendri and annexed the regions to his kingdom. He defeated the combined forces of the armies of the sultans who had united under the leadership of the Bahmani Sultan Mahmud Shah. During Krishnadevaraya's reign, the kingdom of Vijayanagar extended from Cuttack in the east up to Goa in the west and from the Raichur Doab in the north up to the Indian Ocean in the south. He died in 1530 CE. Krishnadevaraya was a scholar. He wrote Amukta Malyada, a Telugu compendium on polity. The Hazar Ram temple and the Vitthal temple were built in Vijayanagar during his reign. The decline of the Vijayanagar kingdom began with the death of Krishnadevaraya. In 15 1165 CE at Talikot in the present state of Karnataka, there was a battle between Adil Shahi, Nizam Shahi, Qutub Shahi and Barid Shahi on one side and Vijayanagar on the other side. Vijayanagar was defeated. Thereafter, the dominance of Vijayanagar came to an end. Next point is the Bahmani kingdom. While Muhammad bin Tughlaq was still reigning, some of his sardars in the Deccan rose in rebellion against him. The leader of these sardars, Hasan Gangu, defeated the army of the Sultan of Delhi. A new kingdom known as the Bahmani kingdom came into existence in 1347 CE. Hasan Gangu became the first Sultan of the Bahmani kingdom. He made the city of Gulbarga in Karnataka his capital. Next point is Mahmud Gawan. Mahmud Gawan was the chief wazir of the Bahmani kingdom. He was a good administrator. He strengthened the Bahmani kingdom. He started paying the soldiers their salaries in cash instead of through land grants. He brought discipline in the army. He introduced many reforms in the land revenue system. He opened a madrasa at Bidar for Arabic and Persian studies. After the death of Mahmud Gawan, factionism increased among the Bahmani sardars. The conflict with the Vijayanagar kingdom had an adverse effect on the Bahmani kingdom. The provincial governors began to act more independently. Here, the word factionism means a person who promotes faction or engages in faction. Okay. This led to the disintegration of the Bahmani kingdom into 5 small powers: Imad Shahi of Warad, Barid Shahi of Bidar, Adil Shahi of Bijapur, Nizam Shahi of Ahmednagar and Qutub Shahi of Golconda. Next point is Mughal power. In 1526 CE, the Sultanate of Delhi came to an end. Mughal power was established there. Babur was the founder of Mughal power. He was the king of Fargana in Central Asia in today's Uzbekistan. He had heard of the wealth in India, so he planned an invasion in India. The reigning Sultan of Delhi at that time was Ibrahim Lodi. Daulat Khan was the governor of Punjab under the Sultanate. The relationship between Ibrahim Lodi and Daulat Khan Lodi was strained. Daulat Khan Lodi invited Babur to march on India. Taking this opportunity, Babur invaded India. To repel Babur's invasion, Ibrahim Lodi started with his army. There was a battle between Ibrahim Lodi and Babur on 21st April 1526 at Panipat. In this battle, Babur made use of an artillery effectively for the first time in India. He defeated Ibrahim Lodi's army. This is known as the First Battle of Panipat. After the Battle of Panipat, Rana Sanga of Mewad brought all Rajput kings together. There was a battle between Babur and Rana Sanga at Khanawa. Babur's artillery and reserve force played a key role in this battle and Rana Sanga's army was defeated. Babur died in 1530 CE. Akbar was the most powerful king of the Mughal dynasty. When he tried to bring India under his central authority, he had to face opposition. Maharana Pratap, Chand Bibi, Rani Durgavati struggled against him. Their struggle is noteworthy. In this paragraph, they have told us how Maharana Pratap had to face opposition. Not only Maharana Pratap, but Chand Bibi, Rani Durgavati, they have struggled against oppositions, and their struggle is noteworthy. Noteworthy is their work, whatever they have work, it was remarkable. Noteworthy means remarkable. Students, I hope you have understood till here. Further part we will see in next module. Thank you.